If you want a really easy day trading strategy that consistently shows up in the market, then make sure you stick around for this entire video because I'm going to be sharing with you a 5-minute day trading strategy that anybody can use. It's very simple to trade, your risk to reward is very well defined, and I'm going to be sharing that exact strategy with you in today's video. So if you do find value in this video, make sure to smash that like button as well as clicking that subscribe and that bell icon. It would mean the absolute world to me. But without further ado, let's hop into the video. All right, so I want to start off with why does this strategy work? The strategy is based on price action and structure, specifically using the 5-minute chart to catch early momentum moves. No complicated indicators, just clean and actionable setups. And this strategy works literally in any market. So here is what we are looking for. We need a clear consolidation of range during the first 15 to 30 minutes of the market open. We then want to mark the high and low of the first 15 minutes or the first 30 minutes of the session. We then want to look for a breakout above or below that range. And then we want to look for price to come back and retest that breakout level. And if it does and we get confirmation in the price action, we are then either going to look for a short entry or a long entry. This is often called a break and retest, and it's extremely powerful on the 5-minute chart. So again, after we mark that range, we are then looking for the breakout to happen, which means we want the candle to close outside of the range. Now, if it closes outside of the range and it has a strong volume elevation, we can look to trade the breakout. It's just personally, I really like to trade the retest, but you can trade the breakout if we have a large volume spike when price actually breaks the range. Now, if price were to come back and retest the breakout, we are either looking for price to bounce off of the level or we are looking for price to reject off the level, and that is going to be our entry. Now, as far as your entry and stop placement, your entry is going to be after confirmation, either at the breakout or if price were to retest the level. And I'll show you guys some actual trade examples on how you would trade it. Your stop loss is going to be on the opposite side of the breakout, whether it be the retest or the actual breakout candle. And you want to look to target at least a 1.5 or 2x your original risk, because that's how we're going to stay consistently profitable. So if we were to look at this chart today on the S&P futures, here's the first 30 minutes of price action right here. This is going to be the lowest point of price action within the first 30 minutes. And then this is the highest point of price action within the first 30 minutes. So what you want to do is you want to mark the high and you want to mark the low. As we can see, price broke above the high of the first 30 minutes on this candle right here. Now, did the volume confirm for you to go long at the breakout? No. However, price did pull back and retest this area, as we can see multiple times on the 2-minute time frame, as well as the 5-minute time frame. We held that area. So again, what we are going to look for is a long position. Let's just say we entered long at the close of that candle right there. Our stop loss is going to be if price were to break back down below this breakout area right here. So the trade is going to look something like that as far as your stop. And then here was your potential reward. So you already hit your 1.5, probably somewhere around here. But on this trade, you got about a 2R trade, which again, you're going to be scaling out of your position and you're going to be moving your stop loss up, which eventually your stop loss would have been hit on this move back down. So typically after your first trim, that is where you are looking to put your stop loss at least at break even, if not slightly in profits. Let's go ahead and find another example. So let's go ahead and look at this example right here, again, based on a 30-minute opening range breakout. Here is market open, and here is the high of that first 30 minutes. Now, if we go ahead and we mark the low, which is right there, and the high, which is right here, you can see that price tried to break above that high. However, it could not. But eventually price broke above the high of the opening range of that first 30 minutes on this candle right here. This was a little later in the day. It does have a little bit of elevated volume. So maybe you could have gotten a breakout entry with your stop right below here. But as we can see on the coming candles, it came back and it tested this area as support 2 times before making a move higher. Now, I can guarantee you if we break it down to a 2-minute time frame and we head back on over here, notice a 2-minute time frame as well. Price breaks above it, comes back, retests this area multiple times. We also have an imbalance right here to help add even more confirmation of that overall area. So again, you're going to be looking to get long on any of these candles. We'll just say at the close of this 2-minute candle right here, with a stop loss set right below the breakout of the high of that first 30 minutes. Now, again, you are looking for bare minimum a 1.5R to 2R trade. So your 1.5 was right about here. Again, you're going to look to scale out of your position, put your stop loss up to break even. Your 2R trade was right here. Again, so you're going to scale out, move your stop loss up. And ultimately on this trade, if you took it, you could have potentially had a 6R trade. So that's another really good example of the break and retest of the first 30 minutes. Here's a pretty decent example of the breakout above the high of the first 30 minutes. So as you can see, we have this high point right here. And then the lowest point of price action within the first 30 minutes was there. Price tried to break below, reclaimed it, but ultimately on this candle, we did break above it and we did have a lot of volume on that candle. So again, that would confirm for you to get long. Maybe you could have caught an early entry based on the 2-minute time frame. Let's see. Even on the 2-minute, I would say this would confirm because look at that 2-minute volume compared to all the previous volume bars besides the open. So ideally, your entry would have been at the close of this 2-minute candle right here. So we just go ahead and put the position on. Your stop loss would be below the low of that breakout candle. So you're risking about 4.5 points. So again, you want to look for bare minimum a 1.5R trade, if not a 2R trade, which is going to be right here. I'll actually just go ahead and buy a few more. And then ideally after that, I mean, you just scale out of your position, move your stop loss up and see what the market offers you because we never know how much the trade is going to move in our favor unless we keep some of the position. And then right away, you can see that this trade starts working out in your favor. It starts making a nice move up. Again, you're going to scale out of your position. You're going to move your stop loss up, at least to break even, if not slightly in profits. And you're just going to let that trade continue to run until one, you're either satisfied with your profits or you get stopped out in profits. Now, one thing I want you guys to keep in mind is this strategy doesn't present itself every single day. Just like any other strategy in the market, it's not always going to be there, but it does happen quite often. So just keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and look at one more example. Here's the high of the first 30 minutes, and here's the low of the first 30 minutes. So actually, you could have traded this both ways. As we can see down here, once price broke below that level, it came back up to retest it very quickly before it moved back down. Again, a 2-minute could potentially give a different setup. Never mind, the 2-minute never really said anything. So disregard that. But if we go back to the 5-minute time frame, we see that once price breaks above the opening range high right here, it wants to come back and retest the level as support. So again, that is what we are looking for a long entry. As it holds that area, look to get long, stop loss right below the area, look for a 1.5 or a 2R trade, scale out of your position, stop loss break even, and just let it run to see how much more the trade potentially wants to give you. So a few tips to maximize your wins. As always, use volume confirmation, but you also want to avoid trading this around news because there are a lot of news events that are scheduled for 9:45 and 10 a.m. Eastern time. So just be cautious with news. Don't force these setups. Again, they don't present themselves every single day. So know what to look for. If it presents itself, then obviously you could take it with proper risk to reward and always stick to your stop loss. That's the most important thing about trading. We never know how much money we are going to potentially make. All we know is how much we are originally risking on the position. Some common mistakes is entering this trade too early, chasing the breakout, ignoring the volume, and moving your stop loss lower. If you enter too early, you didn't have proper confirmation, so you shouldn't even be in the trade. If you're chasing the breakout, that's just asking to get obliterated in the market. If you're ignoring volume, you don't know if it's actually breaking out with heavy volume. So again, there's no reason to be in the trade if the volume's not confirming. And then finally is moving your stop loss. Do not move your stop loss lower than what it originally was, or you're asking to blow your account. So if you guys did find value in today's video, make sure to smash that like button, comment down any suggestions of new videos that you guys have. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, but also join my free Discord that I will be leaving down in the description. Other than that, everybody have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.